From the Storm Track 5 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist David Boyd. An update on the severe storms moving through the Tri-Cities. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for northern Washington County, Tennessee, southern Washington County, southern Sullivan County, and includes in northern Carter County and all of Johnson County. This severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon. The most intense part of the storm still just to the north of Johnson City over Piney Flats, and seeing several cloud-to-ground lightning strikes around Bluff City. And as we track this into the future, it looks like the most intense part of the storm will be getting close to Elizabethton around 128 and moving into Mountain City about 142. So you zoom in a little bit closer, we can see that these heavy rains right over 11E, and this rain's moving to the east. Also heavy rain in downtown Bristol, but there's the most intense part of the storm, Piney Flats and Bluff City. We could be seeing some damaging wind gusts of over 60 miles an hour and also some heavy rains. So you zoom out a little bit more, we're seeing some other strong storms, no warnings, but some strong storms around Baileyton and also Rogersville down into Morristown as well, and more activity further to the south and west around Knoxville. Now here's the bigger picture. This is all part of a long line of rain and storms. Now the severe weather threat has ended across southeast Kentucky and much of southwest Virginia, but we are watching this one cell of the Tri-Cities and these line of storms down through Knoxville, tornado watch in effect for the Knoxville area. Now here's a live look from the Bank of Tennessee building in Johnson City looking north toward these storms. The downpour thunderstorm at the airport with a temperature of 54 degrees, the wind currently about 8 miles an hour. So here's the future radar continuing to show these heavy storms pushing through the region, and it looks like the severe weather threat will be diminishing after 5 o'clock. Now, Preston Ayers has been joining me and been helping me tracking these storms as well. And Preston, you've been gathering some information on the storm damage in the region. So what do you have at this hour?
Well, David, I was just on the phone a moment ago with Olivia Bailey. She's in Wise County. We saw her during our noon show. She's at a location right now with some significant damage from trees. We're working on getting some pictures back into our newsroom from there. I'm not exactly sure the location in Wise County there, but I believe a part of a building or maybe part of a home has been destroyed there from those trees down. Some other reports that are coming in right now from the National Weather Service. Most recently, a little after 12, right around 12:30, trees reported down across Abingdon today. Also, western Scott County around 12 o'clock as the storm was rolling through there. Significant amount of trees reported down there. Lee County, the same thing there. Multiple trees down across the area as we've watched those storms move through southwest Virginia. Now, we've also been following the storm shelter situation that's happening out there in case folks do want a place to go as these storms continue to move through this afternoon. A couple of counties are opening those up right now. About an hour ago, we were talking with Bill Brown, the EMA director from Greene County. They have a few shelters open. Those are in DeBusk Volunteer Fire Department, the Mossheim Volunteer Fire Department, and the Opportunity House. Those opened a few hours earlier today than what they had initially planned to do. That's because they were anticipating the storms moving through the area. Also, Hawkins County, they have 2 storms open for their residents there as well. Hawkins County Rescue Squad is open for a shelter this evening, as well as the Church Hill Rescue Squad. Now, if you are headed out to one of these shelters, officials are asking you to bring all of your necessities with you. Included in that, make sure you have any medication that you might need, especially if you're going to be there for the evening, and hopefully that they're able to go back home fairly quickly. But if you're wanting to ride these storms out in a shelter, there are a couple of locations in Greene and Hawkins County that we're continuing to follow that. But again, most of the damage reports that we're seeing coming in are just trees down. We have the building that was destroyed also in Wise County that Olivia was showing us during our noon show as well. She was talking with the folks there at that construction company where it was blown down in the heavy winds, and then also we're hearing that coming out of the storms where she's at right now with multiple trees down on maybe a mobile home. We're going to get to her in a moment. Right now for the latest radar and where these storms are and what we're seeing happening in the Tri-Cities, back over to David right now in the Weather Center. David.
Thanks a lot, Preston. Let's take a live look now. Bristol Motor Speedway seeing the heavy rains moving through Sullivan County at this hour, and we've been seeing some gusty winds as well. Now, also here's a live look, Bank of Tennessee building, Johnson City, looking north toward those storms. Now, so far we've seen some gusts around 40 to 50 miles an hour in Glade Spring and also in Atkins and Richlands and also in Birchleaf. Temperatures currently in the lower 50s. Let's take a look now at our Max Alert radar, and we can show you that these storms are continuing to move through northern parts of Washington County, Tennessee, southern parts of Sullivan County, and this is moving to the east. So it's going to be moving toward Elizabethton and through northern Carter County, and then eventually also into Johnson County as well. So you notice the cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon for northern parts of Washington County, southern Sullivan, and then also parts of Carter County and into Johnson County. So I think we have meteorologist Chris Michaels with us now, and so he's been out tracking the storms as well. Chris, what can you tell us at this point?
All right, thank you very much, guys. We've got a little bit of a different angle here from the Johnson City newsroom, where we're actually under a severe thunderstorm warning, as David was telling you, until 2 o'clock. Got a pretty nasty storm right now east of I-81 as I'm looking at my laptop. This is especially for North JC and also in Elizabeth and Stony Creek as you go up Highway 91, also near Bluff City and up towards Shady Valley and Mountain City. Now, what we've been doing here is keeping an eye on the radar, obviously. We've actually been doing that using our own website. If you go to WCYB.com or the Storm Track 5 mobile app. Also been keeping in touch with the National Weather Service in Morristown. Those are the guys and gals that are usually issuing some of the warnings that we've seen so far today. Keeping an eye on Facebook and Twitter for any of your reports and pictures. We appreciate those anytime you can give them. Even if your report is nothing much has happened here, that's still a great report and we appreciate that. Also keeping an eye on some of the power outages across the area. And by and large, the most outages that we've seen have been around Big Stone Gap. As at one point, there were about 4,000 customers. I'm looking right now, about 6,000 customers in Wise County without power. So these storms do have a history of producing some tree damage, also some power outages in parts of Southwest Virginia. So if you are in Elizabethton, North Johnson City, Stony Creek, Hampton, Butler, Shady Valley, Mountain City, that's something to keep an eye on and understand that we could be seeing some of those wind gusts and torrential rains. But we're going to continue to keep an eye on that through the rest of the afternoon, alerting you to severe weather danger in the Johnson City newsroom. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Here's the latest on our Max Alert radar and seeing those heavy rains, strong winds now near into the east of Bluff City. So now affecting much of eastern Sullivan County. Heavy rains in Bristol and also in Kingsport. But the warning is for this cell right here and also an intense cell near Johnson City. So let's take a look now at the wind speeds. We can actually use Doppler radar and look at some of the velocities. Some of these brighter colors indicate those gusty winds at radar level, which is above, of course, a few thousand feet above the ground. We are seeing winds of up to 80 miles an hour. So that means that we could be seeing gusts of 50, 60, potentially 70 miles an hour on the leading edge of the storm. So it's right now in parts of Carter County and extreme southeastern sections of Sullivan County. So some strong winds near into the east of Elizabethton, including over Hunter, moving toward Winter, and also moving toward Sadie, around Kingsport Elementary. So this is the severe thunderstorm warning, and it is moving to the east toward Mountain City. So we just got an update to the warning, and the warning has now been canceled for Johnson County, for Washington County, Tennessee. The Johnson City area, that has been canceled, but we still have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southeastern Sullivan, northern Carter, and all of Johnson County. And also seeing some strong winds in this part of the storm and just the north and west of Mountain City. So again, the one severe thunderstorm warning, this is in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon, and the most intense part of the storm, seeing that's around Bluff City as well, but some gusts out ahead of the main storm there in parts of Carter County. The warning includes Bluff City, Butler, Mountain City, Neva, and Shady Valley, Carter, Johnson, and Sullivan counties. I'm going to toss it back over to Preston Ayers, who's been getting some more information on some of the storm damage that moved through, that happened earlier today, especially in Pound. We had some pictures of some damage there earlier. Preston.
Yeah, David, we did have those pictures coming in. Also, several of you have been posting those to us on our Facebook page and watching those come through. Olivia Bailey was describing a few moments ago. We're going to hopefully get her on the phone to be able to talk with us. But trees have caused some significant damage to one property there in Wise County, Pound, Virginia, also with the problems there at a construction site there, an office there with part of a porch blown down and a building destroyed. Trees down across Abingdon and western Scott County also have had quite a few trees down there. Lee County as well. Checking the outage maps, though, from power outage problems across Appalachian Power, and just looking off the screen here just a moment to let you know that by and large, Southwest Virginia are seeing anywhere from about 500 customers, the most we're seeing out right now. That's in Dickinson County. Also, Wise County does have more than 2,000 right now, looks like, according to AEP. Checking around with the high wind, still an issue with that, and possible power outages continuing as the wind continues, even if the severe thunderstorm is not a problem there. Several shelters open if you need them in Hawkins and Greene counties as well. The rescue squad in Hawkins County and Churchill, places you can go there. And we also have some pictures now coming in. This is some damage. This is coming from Wise County, Virginia. Olivia Bailey sending those in to us there. You see the damage. This is a mobile home. Incredible damage caused with this. This is a live shot coming from our Olivia Bailey. We'll hopefully get some details of what they're seeing and what has happened here. But talking with her by phone a few moments ago, it was by a tree, and we see the incredible. This is the worst we have seen coming through at this point, but that is out of Wise County. Don't know the exact location. We'll get with her on the phone and talk with her more about that as we continue. Our Storm Track 5 meteorologist continuing to track this, the latest on where these storms are moving. Guys, that was coming out of southwest Virginia. Now we're hearing that the warnings and the watches right now focusing on northeast Tennessee, but what's the latest for southwest Virginia where we're starting to see this aftermath and the damage of the storms that have rolled through? Well, it looks like the severe weather threat diminishing, certainly for southeast Kentucky and most of southwest Virginia in the clear for severe storms. We still have that warning, eastern Sullivan, northern Carter, all of Johnson County until 2 o'clock this afternoon, but we're also monitoring storms in the Knoxville area, severe thunderstorm warning there, and these storms are moving to the east and could eventually move toward Greene and Unicoi counties. So let's take a look now on our Max Alert radar. Mainly just rain across southwest Virginia. Every now and then we get a little bit of cloud to ground lightning, but the heaviest storms still over northeast Tennessee with the one warning to the southeast of Bristol with that intense part of the storm now over northern Carter County, very close to Holston Mountain and racing toward Mountain City. But as we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes here south and east of Bristol and to the east of Bluff City, getting very close to Shady Valley at this hour. And as we go further down to the south and west, we can watch take a look at the storms in the Knoxville area as well. This warning down in Knox County, also Anderson County, Roane County, a large complex of storms, and these are also moving to the east, so we'll be watching those for the rest of the day. And even though there's not a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the Tri-Cities, we're still monitoring the potential of severe storms through about 5 p.m. this afternoon. But again, just that one warning that's in effect for southeast of Bristol. But heavy rains also in Kingsport and in Rogersville. Let's take a look at some of the cameras around the viewing area. We've been seeing the heavy rains moving through much of the Tri-Cities at this hour, and we're going to be seeing the heavy rains. There's a live look now, Bristol Motor Speedway, and gusty winds as well. You want to slow down, allow some extra time to get to your destination if you can. And we'll take a look now at some of the other cameras in the region, but a lot of places seeing these downpours and also seeing the rain, a lot of it just to the north of Johnson City at this hour. And again, the strongest storm is just to the south and east of Bristol. Preston, you have some more information on the storm reports. Yes, David, we're now able to talk with Olivia Bailey. She is live in Wise County, Virginia. She's actually in Pound, Mockingbird Drive. This is where that mobile home has been destroyed by trees. Let's get out to Olivia right now for the latest on what's happened there in southwest Virginia.
Preston, we are on Mockingbird Drive here in Pound, and right behind me, I'm going to step out of the way here. You can see a mobile home has been destroyed, actually split in half by a tree here. Now, good news is that the family is safe. No one was in the home at the time. That's according to firefighters and the police chief here on the scene. No one was home at the time, and the rest of the family members are currently with other family members, and they are currently trying to get them located in a place to stay here. But, I mean, you can just completely see this tree has just come down and split this mobile home in half. I was talking to some of the neighbors nearby here just a couple of moments ago, and she was telling me it just sounded like a huge rumble of thunder, and then she stepped out, and this is what she saw. And you can just see here some of the devastation. We were actually just on scene just a few moments ago of another accident in Pound. That was at a Hamilton construction in Pound, and that actually blew the roof off of a neighboring business and landed on their business. And he was telling me it's going to take $40,000 to $60,000 to fix those damages down there. You could just step inside and you could see the water spots on the floor they had leaking, and then that crumbled roof was actually in the parking lot there. So we're seeing a lot of damages here in Pound and throughout Wise County. We're going to continue to follow this story this morning or throughout the afternoon here and check in. We've actually got the police chief standing by. We're going to talk to him about other damages that they've seen throughout the region. Reporting live in Pound, Virginia, Olivia Bailey, News 5 WCYB. Back to you.
All right, Olivia, that is the most significant damage we've seen coming through so far. The majority of everything else we're hearing about is trees down, but that is the most significant building and structure damage we've had reported as these storms have rolled through. Storm Track 5 meteorologist team continuing to track these moment by moment. Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks is walking in now, but back over to David of what we're seeing on the radar and where these storms are headed. David.
We're zooming in on the radar and seeing the most intense part of this cell around South Holston Lake at this hour, just to the south of Bristol Caverns. And this is racing to the east towards Shady Valley and also around Sadie and Hunter. And we're seeing some very strong winds and heavy rains with this cell. And elsewhere in the Tri-Cities, a strong thunderstorm over Kingsport and heavy rains also in Fall Branch down into Geraldstown and Rogersville. No warning on this, but still a very intense thunderstorm cell. As we zoom out and take a look at Southwest Virginia, seeing a general rain, a little bit of cloud-to-ground lightning around Gate City and also around Chilhowie, but no warnings in effect. Again, the only warning that is in effect is for northern Carter, southeastern Sullivan County, and all of Johnson County, and this is in effect until 2 p.m. this afternoon. So let's take a live look now at Bristol Motor Speedway, still seeing the heavy rains coming down at this hour, and now looking north state of Franklin and Johnson City. The severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled for Washington County, Tennessee, including in Johnson City, but we did have some gusts earlier of 40 to 50 miles an hour in spots, and temperatures rain cooled now down into the 50s in Glade Spring. And we'll now take a look at the Doppler radar once again. And again, that one cell is moving across the mountains and into Shady Valley, and very intense storms. This is around Beulah Dean, and Highway 421 is going to be affected, and also Highway 91 seeing some downpours. Stony Creek seeing the downpours, and we'll take a look at not seeing much hail with this cell at this hour, but we are still seeing some very gusty winds in the region. And there's a look at the hail tracker. It's just picking up just some small hail, but pea-sized hail at most. With this kind of atmosphere, we monitor the gusty winds and the heavy rains. Now, we've had a couple of flood advisories in the region, but no flash flood warnings at this hour. But with these torrential downpours, that could change. Is this the flood advisories right here? Okay, so meteorologist Ricky Matthews is here with me helping to track the storms, and we're seeing the flood advisory that is in effect for Harlan County and also in effect for Bell County. This is in effect till 2 o'clock, and there's another flood advisory which includes far western Lee County. This is in effect until 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, most of these storms, David, this afternoon have been producing very heavy rainfalls. Have gone through the afternoon. In fact, we'll bring up how much rainfall we've received over the past, say, 6 hours or so. And let's pull up that, because some of these rainfall totals have been quite impressive, especially where these storms have moved over the same areas time and time again. So here's our rain estimate over the past 6 hours. We'll query a few of these products at 1.3 inches where that flood advisory is in effect for portions of southwestern Lee County, over an inch of rain there. You know, we got a lot of rain yesterday, so that saturated ground also could help accumulate some of these trees that are down because of the winds. The roots are weaker on the trees and they can easily be down. But one thing I wanted to point out to you here, David, is look how this little storm is bowing out just a little bit. It's almost like a backwards C shape, and sometimes with that, as you very well know, we get those very strong gusty winds in the leading edge of it, and we can use that as kind of an indication that we may be seeing some of those strong thunderstorm winds heading towards Mountain City, Shady Valley, and the Neva area right along Highway 67.
And this storm is moving to the east as we loop it once again, and moving pretty quickly. So it's going to be moving into Mountain City here probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. And we've been watching the strong winds with our velocity product, and the brighter colors indicate some of these stronger winds. And of course, this is at radar level, but still indicating how much wind energy is in the atmosphere. So again, we do have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for southeastern Sullivan County, northern Carter County, and Johnson County until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Meteorologist Chris Michaels, also part of our storm team coverage, and he's in our Johnson City newsroom at this hour with an update.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, we're in the Johnson City newsroom right now. We're actually just started pouring some rain and also some thunder and lightning. That brings to mind some power outages, right? We've got a saturated ground. Any wind gusts can knock out the power in some parts of the area, and that's something that we've seen especially in Southwest Virginia. So according to Appalachian Power, around Clintwood, we've got more than 600 power outages. Nothing extreme, but just goes to show the scattered nature of some of these outages. Also up near Pound, where Olivia Bailey is surveying some damage on Mockingbird Drive. Also around Abingdon, a few outages as well. If we go to, let's see, I believe this is the LG&E outage map. Around Norton for a while now, there have been a few thousand people without power. We've had multiple reports at a Big Stone Gap where we had some heavy rain, some thunder, and some lightning, and obviously some gusty winds, something that we're now seeing on the southern edge of the state line, or south of the state line, excuse me, in northeast Tennessee, where we've got a few batches of some heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. So something that you should be alert to is the potential for some power outages and some down trees as we head through the afternoon, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on that, not just here on air, but online and on social media. Alerting you to severe weather danger in the Johnson City newsroom, I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels. Now back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Chris Michaels. And Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks is now joining us, helping us track these storms. And Dave, these heavy rains moving through the Tri-Cities at this hour.
Yeah, we continue to monitor the situation. Obviously, the main concern continues to be the severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for the southeastern part of Sullivan County, the northern part of Carter County, as well as Johnson County in northeast Tennessee. That severe thunderstorm warning will continue in effect until what time here? It looks like 2 o'clock this afternoon. And the bow structure that is probably responsible for any damaging winds that we see with this storm has basically moved out of Sullivan County right now and is moving through areas of northern Carter County, actually pushing out of northern Carter County, mainly now over Johnson County, along Highway 421, State Route 67, there between Shady Valley and Mountain City, and then just to the north of Deauville is where we're likely seeing the stronger winds with this system. And it appears we could see wind gusts over 50 miles per hour with this, maybe even upwards of over 60 miles per hour. It races off to the east pretty quickly at about 50 miles per hour right now. So heads up right now for the Mountain City area, as well up toward Laurel Bloomery and the Butler area. And this is going to be heading right along U.S. Highway 421. And we're going to put a little track on this and show you the communities that will be impacted with this here over the next hour or so. It looks like Mountain City, within the next few minutes. We've got White Top, we've got Clifton, we've got Helton, Chestnut Hill, Piney Creek, as well as Independence between now and about 2:30. Now, in addition to this particular cell, which has the warning with it until 2 o'clock, and mainly it looks like the severe part of the storm is now primarily in Johnson County. The warning's still in effect for southeastern Sullivan, northern Carter, but I'm thinking that probably the influence of any damaging wind gusts have now moved into Carter County. But the heavy rains extend back across the Tri-Cities area. You can see some heavier downpours around Jonesboro, Johnson City, and extending up toward Bluff City and Bluntville, Piney Flats, Bristol, and all the way back toward Bloomingdale and Kingsport, Colonial Heights, and into northern Greene County as well, right near and to the north of Interstate 81 around Bayleton, and that rain will continue to move off to the east. And right now, we're going to throw it to Preston Ayers with some updates here.
All right, thanks, Dave. We're beginning to share. A lot of folks are sharing pictures with us on Facebook, and we appreciate you doing that. If you have them and are able to share those with us on our WCYB Facebook page, we do appreciate that, and we can see what the storms have been like as they've rolled through the area. I believe we can take a look at some of those. Olivia Bailey came upon what has been the most what has been the most significant damage that we have found so far, and we're just a moment here. We're switching back over here to be able to get that. We have some pictures there that we can show you. But again, thank you all for sharing those with us on our Facebook page as we've been rolling through them. But one mobile home we know of destroyed in the Wise, Virginia, Pound area. Guys, we're going to let you go to the weather. Here we go. Here's some more pictures coming into us right now that you've been sharing with us from our Facebook page. And we're in Pound, Virginia right now. But if you guys can see that here, this is there we go. This is the destroyed picture. The picture, well, not sure what happened there on that, but Give me just a moment. Guys, we are live TV right now. This is what kind of happens sometimes. Not sure why that has happened. Back over to Dave right now while we get back to our pictures here on the, there we go. Dave?
All right, thanks, Preston. Yeah, we're kind of continuing to analyze that storm. I do want to bring you an update on that severe thunderstorm warning that is still in effect for Johnson County, but the National Weather Service has canceled the warning for southeastern Sullivan and northern Carter. So this right here, as we've been talking about, if there is still some damaging wind gusts with it, it looks like it'd primarily be right along Highway 421 and near Highway 67 as well, kind of in this little triangular area heading toward the Mountain City area. And we've noticed some weakening in this overall segment of the storm. Not to say there wouldn't be a damaging wind gust with it, but it does appear it's kind of confined to a small area. But we do encourage our friends, of course, and our viewers in Mountain City, take shelter in a safe place away from windows. It is not a tornado warning, but we could see some damaging wind gusts that might knock down a tree or two, and perhaps some power lines as well. At this time, this is the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have in effect for the viewing area. It does appear that the overall threat for severe weather in southwest Virginia is beginning to taper off, but we've had some storm reports. In fact, I want to show you this one here that came in about 12:24 this afternoon in Washington County around Abingdon, reporting some trees down, a few trees down in the Abingdon area, and a few other storm reports back on toward the west. And we can see that in Scott County, this is near and in the city of Duffield, some trees down in the western part of Scott County, and we've had one other storm report, and this one is in Lee County with about 11:18 this morning in the city of Jonesville. Trees down across the eastern part of the county in Lee County. But again, it appears the focus and the shift southward of the heavier storms now focusing in on eastern and northeastern portions of Tennessee. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning for Johnson County until 2 o'clock. As we were kind of pointing out, though, it does appear some weakening with that storm as it's been racing off to the east around 40, 45 miles per hour. But this activity here in Sullivan County seems to be flaring up a little bit. At least we've definitely got some intense downpours, which could cause some localized flooding concerns, since we've seen several waves of rain moving over some of these areas over the past couple of hours. So be on the lookout for that danger as well. But in Sullivan County, we do have that heavy rain. Also northern Washington County pushing off to the east as well. We're going to take a look at some cameras here. This here from Bristol Motor Speedway, looking on Volunteer Parkway in the Bristol, Tennessee, the south side of town. You can definitely see some heavy downpours occurring now in Bristol. The flag is, is waving around pretty good there, but doesn't look like anything tremendously powerful. But we do also have some wet roadways in Johnson City, north state of Franklin. Again, we encourage you all to not maybe cancel your plans, but at least slow down if you have to be on the roadways as the showers and thunderstorms move across the area during the course of the afternoon. Another shot here from Eastone Drive in Kingsport. Looks like traffic moving along pretty good, though the roads are wet here. Rain does not look particularly heavy right now, at least on the east side of Kingsport, but there definitely are some downpours occurring across the metro area at this hour. Now let's throw it back to Preston Ayers with more on what is developing across the area this afternoon.
All right, Dave, I think we've got our pictures back now. We've got this situated out, but back to the most significant damage we have seen is coming out of Pound, Virginia. This is that mobile home that is literally cut in half by the tree that fell across that. Thankfully, Olivia Bailey finding out that no one was injured in this. The family was not home, but now definitely a cleanup underway for them. As we move across here through some other pictures here, this is one sent in to us from Buchanan County. We appreciate Sherry and Justice for sharing us that. This is more trees down. You see that's what we've been hearing the most of, is trees down across the area. Abingdon reporting trees down. Western Scott County, trees down there. Also trees down in Lee County, Virginia as well. That's been over the past several hours. We're hearing of those coming through. Moving on through here, this is in Hurley, Virginia. More trees down there in a home there. We appreciate Alicia sending us that. And also, I believe we have another picture here from Alicia as well. Trees down and maybe some damage, it looks like, possibly to that play area there in their yard. So, but the most significant has been in the Wise County area. We also heard of another structure damage there earlier in Olivia Bailey when she was talking to us there at noon. But that is the most telling of these storms as we've been going through the afternoon. East Tennessee, as Dave and David have been talking about, there are some storm shelters, though, if you believe as storms come through this afternoon that you need to go to. Hawkins County, you can get those at the Hawkins County Rescue Squad. Churchill Rescue Squad also has a storm shelter open there. In Greene County, there's 3 places you can go to. The DeBusk Volunteer Fire Department, that's on DeBusk Road. Also, Mossheim Volunteer Fire Department, you'll find that on Andrew Johnson Highway. And Opportunity House is on Irish Street there in downtown Greenville as well. Those are open if you need to go to. Ricky Matthews right now is who we're going to head to. Storm Track 5 Weather Center right now with some more damages. This is what Olivia was showing us earlier, Ricky, damage there at that construction company in Pound, Virginia.
Yeah, certainly. This is some very strong winds that caused this roof to be blown off the building there in portions of Pound, Virginia, where the storms were rolling through earlier this morning. And that's some of the same damage these storms rolling through portions of Johnson County now are going to be capable of producing. Now, you notice the roof blown off the roof here. A lot of times those straight line winds can cause damage just like that across the area. Let's check out the next picture if we can. Dave, if you could advance that for me there. We'll show you some of the pictures rolling into our newsroom and some of the radar images as well coming across into us. Here's another picture. This comes from Clintwood. James sitting in this shot. Look at the dark, ominous skies early this morning across the Clintwood, Virginia area. St. Paul, some damage here. It looks like we've got a few right there. I'm actually covering it up. A little bit of some tree damage there associated with the thunderstorms earlier this morning. Now, as we take a look at a few more pictures, here's another picture, St. Paul. We're advancing it there. This is Kingsport. Earlier this morning, you noticed lots of dark skies and ominous skies, especially along that shelf cloud that moved in earlier. And that's when most people were kind of getting a little worried and thought, you know, it's very ominous looking, dark outside. Are we under the gun for strong to severe storms? And that's one of the indicators you can use to alert yourself that some strong winds and storms are moving your way. Another tree down. This is from Hurley, Virginia. Sherry's sending in this picture to us on Facebook. You can always send us weather pictures or any damage reports you have on Facebook or Twitter. We always welcome those pictures at News 5 WCYB on Twitter. We also are on Facebook, of course, at WCYB. And we have a weather email as well. You can send them to weather@WCYB.com. This last picture here is coming from Piney Flats. Look at some of the dark skies as well in the Piney Flats area a little earlier this morning as the storms rolled on through that region. Now let's take a look at the radar and show you where this storm is currently located. If we could bring that up, the storm's still in the far northeastern portions of our viewing area. The storm's still under a severe thunderstorm warning right along Mountain City. That's where the strongest storms are located at this hour. And we've got lots and lots of lightning associated with the storms as we look towards the Bristol area. Now, this area in Bristol is not severe. It's the area here in Mountain City that the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for, and that severe thunderstorm warning continues until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, let's take a look, if we can, and loop this over time and kind of show you the overall motion of the storms. The storms are kind of moving off to the north and east, but they're redeveloping further back. And as we were talking about earlier, that's one of the concerns we have is the potential for some flash flooding and flooding as we go through the afternoon. As these storms kind of move over and over and over the same areas, we call it training, like train tracks, you know, driving along the train tracks where the train goes. It's kind of the same type of setup here, where you get some very heavy rainfall and saturated ground can lead to a little bit of flooding as we go through the afternoon. Now, some of these rainfall rates, too, have been quite impressive. We've seen some rainfall rates of over an inch per hour. David, can we bring up that product of rainfall rate and see if we can see what some of these current numbers are here, right along the Bristol area and then towards Mountain City as well. Looks like the heaviest rain actually now more towards the Bristol area, down towards Bristol Motor Speedway, than actually in the areas over towards Mountain City. So let's take a few queries of this if we can, right along Interstate 81. So if you're traveling along 81 or have plans to travel along 81 anytime soon, you may want to put that off for just a little bit, because as these storms move through, you're going to get a lot of heavy rainfall, a lot of ponding of the water on the roadways, and perhaps some slick spots out there. So we always encourage you to slow down if you have anywhere you need to go in the next 30 minutes. Maybe just put it off for about 30, 40 minutes or so. Some of these precipitation rates have been quite heavy, as I mentioned. Rainfall rates over an inch per hour indicated in some of these yellow areas. That's where we could get a little bit of some minor flooding. Now, the hail threat, not really a huge threat with these storms because the wind threat is much higher. These aren't these classic thunderstorms we get in the summertime that can sometimes be termed as supercells. These are more of those thunderstorms that kind of form and then bow out a little bit, and we have that wind threat as a result of it. So one severe thunderstorm warning still in effect towards Mountain City, just south of Damascus, and then we move into portions of North Carolina as we go over the next little bit. Preston, we have more from you?
All right, thanks, Ricky. Just a reminder, a lot of school systems across the region dismissed early today because of these storms rolling through. That has already cleared for those folks, but a reminder to places like ETSU and Tusculum College, checking at WCYB.com, the closings list, they are closed for the remainder of the day there. So you'll want to check that out if you have evening classes somewhere. These storms have forced many schools to postpone or cancel those for the evening. We've been seeing the most significant damage coming out of Wise County, a couple of locations there with building and structural damage. News 5 Olivia Bailey has been on the scene of both of those. She's back now with us live and the latest out of Wise County. Olivia.
We've been making our way around Wise County so far this morning. Right now we're in Pound. We're along Mockingbird Drive where a tree has come in and split a mobile home in half here. They've had several incidents around the town so far. The wind and rain has picked up in the past few minutes. Now we've got Chief of Police Tony Baker with us. And Tony, thank you so much for staying with us as the rain has picked up as well. I know you guys have several incidents. We've been at a couple this morning. Tell me just a little bit about some of the damage you've seen throughout the town so far.
Earlier this morning downtown, one of the businesses had a roof that had come off of the business, and they've been repairing it, trying to work on it. And then approximately an hour ago, we received this call of a tree falling into a trailer.
And when you look at the scene behind us, I mean, the tree has completely split that mobile home in half. Tell me a little bit about the response. You said no one was here at the time. That is the good news. But tell me just a little bit about what you guys did when you got on scene here.
Correct. When I arrived, myself and also firefighter Jake Cantrell, where the trailer is split in half, I went in one side and he went in the other side, and we located the dog, and he was able to get the dog out of the residence. We also made contact with the people that live here and made sure that no one was actually in the residence where this happened at.
And so just looking at us, it's a pretty incredible scene behind us. Have you seen anything like this pulling up on a scene here with storm damage before?
No, not to this extent.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us, Chief Baker. I really, really appreciate it. And so we've actually been talking to AEP here, too. They're on scene here. They're trying to cut off some of the power to this house. I know one part still had power on their lines, but as I was talking to them, they were telling me about 800 customers throughout the Clintwood area also without power. In several places, we've heard reports from Big Stone Gap, in Pound, and Coburn in some places are without power. So they are trying to restore power as quickly as possible, but they do have incidents like this throughout the area that they are having to work on, and they're working on those individually as they get those lines down. We're going to continue to check in with not only Chief of Police Tony Baker, but also some of the firefighters and see what all accidents they are working here. We're going to continue to check in throughout the day, and we'll bring those to you as quickly as possible. Getting the facts right in Pound, Virginia, Olivia Bailey, News 5 WCYB, back to you.
All right, thanks, Olivia. She was mentioning some of those power outages. Just looking here at the AEP outage map right now, most counties across Southwest Virginia have at least some form of power outage, the amount varying greatly by county, but some counties having 100 to 500 out. That's what we have right now in places like Dickinson County, but you're going to see some more numbers going up. Russell County having a few more outages there. Wise County with the greatest number there, according to the Appalachian Power website there. Again, a reminder, several schools, colleges that have evening classes, those have all been canceled for the remainder of the day there, so check that at WCYB.com. But now the question is, as we move forward through the afternoon and into the evening, what do these storms do for us, and what is the next round, if there is one, for us to worry about? For that, we go back to the Storm Track 5 weather team. Chief Meteorologist Dave Dirks, David Boyd, and Ricky Matthews there. Guys, a great job tracking this throughout the day. What are we watching for the remainder of the day?
Hey, Preston, thank you as well. It looks like we're going to continue to track potentially for at least some marginally severe thunderstorms over the next couple of hours. And then, of course, we've been talking about maybe the flash flood threat that might develop in a few areas as well. Guys, what do you think? The storm now that was responsible for the severe thunderstorm warning in Johnson County basically now moved into Ashe County. However, we do want to show you some redevelopment of some pretty intense weather that stretches from near Bristol. We've been having some heavy rain downtown Bristol down toward Watauga Lake, moving off to the east about 45 miles per hour or so, and you can see some of the communities that might be involved with that.
Yeah, a lot of these communities, just getting hit by the last storm, Dave, so maybe you had a little bit of damage to your house. You may want to wander out, see what's happening. You have another storm with some lightning moving in, so if you're in Shady Valley, around 2 o'clock is when you can expect that. Around 2:10 towards Mountain City, Damascus 2:14, Trade 2:16. Looking for about 2:18, 2:20 towards Taylor's Valley, White Top 2:25, Tuckerdale 2:30. Then we're getting into portions of North Carolina and West Jefferson coming up around 2:30 and onward.
So the thunderstorm warning continues until 2 o'clock for Johnson County, but we can, I think, safely say the severe weather with that storm has moved out of Johnson County. But like you mentioned, Ricky, the next round is pushing in from the west pretty quickly at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. And David, you were talking about some new development down toward the Knoxville area as well.
Yeah, and we are continuing to watch these storms, and they are racing to the east. Now, we do have some strong thunderstorms around Baileyton and Bean Station, and also some heavy rains down into Knoxville. But notice we do have this severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Knox County and also in Anderson and northern Blount County. This is until 2:15. And we're going to be watching this storm as it moves to the east to see if it holds together and potentially moves toward Greene County. But again, at this point, no warning for Greene County. The storm's still well off to the west. And we are seeing some more heavier rains over Greenville at this hour and more heavier rains over much of the Tri-Cities. But again, once the warning officially expires at 2 o'clock for Johnson County, we won't have any more warnings in effect for the viewing area, but are watching some stronger storms down toward Knox County.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if those storms hold on to their intensity, that we might need a warning perhaps up toward Jefferson County, Cott County, maybe, then into maybe Hamlin, Greene County as we go through, later this afternoon. But like you mentioned, the warning for Johnson County expiring at 2 o'clock. And of course, should new warnings be issued, we will break in, bring live coverage, give you the pertinent information to keep you and your family safe. And of course, you need to keep abreast of the situation as well. Just want to point out one thing before we kind of take this off, but keep in mind that these storms are moving in this direction, and you see how the intense amount of rain is going to be pulling and moving over the same area as we go through the next couple of hours. So that's why we're also concerned, as we were talking about, the training effect of some of these rains, with the possibility of at least localized flooding. Right now, guys, we're going to throw it back to Preston Ayers. I think you have a few more pictures.
We've been seeing some pictures coming in. Thanks to everyone for sharing those with us on Facebook. Again, a reminder, we do have several school closings that are out there. You'll want to check those on our Storm Track 5 mobile app, News 5 mobile app, and WCYB.com. Basically, if you have college classes this evening, most of those have been canceled for the remainder of the day, just as the storms continue to move through. You heard David talking about, and Dave talking about the storms heading into Greene and Greene County. We do have the storm shelters that have been opened there: DeBusk Volunteer Fire Department, Mossine Volunteer Fire Department, and Opportunity House in Greenville if you should need them. This is the picture there from Wise County that we've been seeing from Olivia Bailey, where the home destroyed there. This is back again from Dickinson County, I believe there, or excuse me, Buchanan County is where this picture was coming in from. Again, trees down is what we've been seeing across the region. Abingdon, Scott County, Lee County, all reporting trees down this afternoon as the storms have rolled through. To Hurley, Virginia, another shot here that was shared with us from Alicia Dotson. Alicia, thank you for doing that. We will continue to follow this as the storms develop across the afternoon. If there are more reasons, we'll break back in. Otherwise, stay with us on News 5 WCYB. The latest today beginning at 5 as we have complete coverage of severe weather to keep you safe and your family safe. Thanks for staying with us.